Alright, hello everyone. This is DayTraderRockStar with a Monday night video here. And two things I want to discuss in this video. One is kind of a follow-up of yesterday's kind of educational video on high probability setups and chart recognition and how important it is for those chart recognitions. And going into this week, understanding some of the previous news might just put some downside pressure on the markets. We had to really tighten up our focus list. So really came out and really noticed that the HMOs, the health insurance stocks, were really pulling back into a good high probability multiple indicator setup, and also the ag stocks or the potash stocks setting up exactly the same way. So both of those were high on the focus list going into this week, and I just want to go over some of the patterns that have been playing out early this week, just based on those patterns. This one is actually on the watch list this week. It's Abbott Labs. It's not one of the stocks I was talking about, but just want to give you an example of seeing a pullback. And once you establish those two lower highs here, even if you have that one line or one touch underneath it, you could just draw a what I like to just call horizontal or parallel line to that other line, and most likely that line is going to hold up. And if that line ends up showing like this, it comes down to the 200 period moving average, then that really becomes a high probability setup with the multiple indicators, lower trend line, the 200 period moving average, and the oversold stochastics and the channel. So everything that's 4 out of 5 indicators really setting up in a very strong buy. And I would take this entry on any stock. And because I take that entry on any stock, we had a lot of those setups this week that we put out on a watch list. So let's take a look at this. Is WellPoint, nice downward trend line, almost a wedge pattern. It could go either way. You could actually go that as a channel here or a wedge pattern, but the wedge actually holds up if you go back here to the 2 points here. Extend that line over, kind of flash down, tag the 200 period moving average. That's actually where I started picking it up on last Thursday, and we took this one into today and actually sold it today, even though I do think it's going to go much higher in this pattern. Stochastics are just turning up here on WellPoint, but that was a good example of that chart setup. Humana, another great high probability, again, same type of setup. You see these I'm seeing these pop up in the market. So all I'm doing is waiting for some good quality stocks here, sector rotation type of stocks that are setting up on the lower trend line. Also have multiple other things underneath it causing support. And the oversold stochastics are the key indicator there. So again, Humana, nice move here, and right across that whole sector, the CI, Sigma, which is not really putting in that channel because it's showing the best of breed type of strength here. We're holding off the 200, but the stochastics were oversold, and we got a nice bounce off of that. So great setup there, and it continues to look like a good setup. Some other stocks I'm looking at for tomorrow, the Forest Labs. I want to see that start trading back up to that $29. Now remember, Forest Labs coming out with earnings tomorrow morning, so that's really going to, that's kind of takes the trade out of our hands. So I wouldn't, I just want to mention that if everything stayed the same, I like Forest Labs here. But again, be it down or up tomorrow, you can't really trade it before tomorrow because you'll be just holding into it. The DGX here, DGX, DGX here, beautiful, again, a pattern I recognize, and this is one of the indicators. Is a pattern is an indicator for me, and it's the slanted inverted head and shoulders pattern. And you can actually see that the left shoulder, and then the head, and then the right shoulder over here. So we got the consolidation, the oversold stochastics, and of course that looked like that perfect setup. So we're long that. I took that off today. Had a tremendous breakout today. And it was showing strength all day, but I did take the profits in that and would probably buy this back on a pullback, but you have to take what's given to you in these markets. GGX was the last one we looked at. FRX, DSX here, Dyna Shipping. Now there's still a nice tone to the shipping index. It just hasn't caught on yet, but we had a nice little breakout here, what I like to call the W pattern, or an inverted head and shoulders pattern, but it's more of a You can see the lines here. I'm not going to write them all in here because I'm not working on my normal computer today. But you go up here and down here and up here, and then the consolidation. But the oversold stochastics here, turning around and popping this one up. Now we have a nice little pullback here. So this is going to be setting up. The reason I like the shipping setting up here because it's not an individual stock that's actually pulling back. It's G and K here. Similar pullback here, and the patterns still hold up, and all these trend lines hold up. So all these stocks are actually, let's see what we got here. Setting up just the same here. And then here's another one in that same sector, the EXM. And again, XL Marine Carriers, and a very similar pattern here on this one. We had a, you can even take that high here, but I would just going to work on this trend line just like this for now. And so basically what we're looking at is this downward trend line, inverted head and shoulders pattern, and then the breakout, now the retracement back to the upper trend line here. So even in this smaller price stock, the XL Marine Carriers, EXM, you still see the overall patterns setting up in the shipping. So the shipping still continues to look really good here. Left on off of that. I just want to go back and just show you a previous setup. It was excellent here. And again, zoom out here. There's a couple different. Yeah, this was a really nice long breakout of this W pattern. You can see that actually the W pattern, the consolidation, and this is what happens after you get that breakout. So again, we're watching these type of setups. Just watch the stochastics on your timing. Another one that's set up for tomorrow, AMTD, Ameritrade, coming out with their earnings tomorrow. So the only reason I'm mentioning this is that I do think they're going to come out with pretty decent earnings, and I think that's going to pop, and I think it's going to really move the broker sector. And the one broker stock that I am very interested in is I love the setup here, IBKR, Interactive Brokers. Now, doesn't look like much happening here, but the fact that we had a nice little reversal bar today. At the end of the day, we had some volume. We held off recent lows here. Stochastics are pulling back, but we're continuing to try to hold around this 20-period moving average. I'm going to zoom it in here a little. And actually, let me zoom it out so I can just show you the trend right now. Let's just bring this right down here. And actually, I want to make sure that this trend line is not even going to... This is an interesting situation because you kind of have this gap here. And, you have this gap, which is going to end up... coming up later as a gap resistance area. That leads another reason why I do think there's a nice upside here, because we're going to probably push back up into this gap, which is 1830. So overall, that could be a good target. But the higher low being put in here, the trend line, which is developed here off of this gap down area. And again, you have to look outside the box sometimes to see some of these trend lines and stuff. But we are pushing up against that trend line and, again, holding off the recent lows. So I think tomorrow should be the catalyst day here. We had a nice close back above the 20, which is always that key. And now tomorrow, if we get that follow through, I think we got a nice push back up towards that gap for a medium-term trade here, up at least above 1750, which is a nice dollar on this trade. So IBKR, definitely set up for, I think, the next couple days. And let me just go into the last 1 minute left here. AMAT, Applied Materials, Intel, Texas Instruments, all are buys here. All of them are very, very bullish. 3-day pullbacks right now, and that's AMT, INTC, also nice 3-day pullback. I wouldn't be surprised to see this the SOX run tomorrow. Yes, the Philadelphia Index, Semiconductor Index here, and I would expect this to run tomorrow. So I think I'd like all of those stocks right there. So that's about it for now. We'll add the semis onto a watch list in the morning, but I'll be broadcasting the markets. If you're not familiar with the site, I broadcast the markets every day at www.daytradingradio.com. Come on by. Show's on from 8:30 to 4 each day. And that's it. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow on the markets.